Hey, this is Max from FL Studio Tips, and today I will show you techniques on how to make your snare go from this to this. So I will be working on the project from our full 5 hours long beginner's course. If you haven't checked it yet, click the link in the description to learn more, but let's jump right into it. So as you can hear, the snare doesn't really pop out. So first thing we'll do is add a limiter here. We'll go to compressor mode, turn the gain about 6 dB or so, and turn the threshold all the way down and ratio all the way up. Now we'll make the sustain to about here and turn down the release all the way down as well. Now we'll increase the release till we don't hear any snare at all. It's about here, right? And now we'll be increasing attack slowly till we hear the transient. This little attack here. We'll now turn the ratio down. And now let's hear the difference. You can hear how more popping it is. And with this technique, you will for sure cut it through everything in the mix. And this could be done as well with the transient processor, which is also native in FL Studio. It comes with trial version, but if we turn the attack all the way up, pretty much the same. And that's why transient processors are really important when it comes to drums mixing. It can be used on every element of your drums and even on drum bass, which is also pretty nice to play with. It comes with the trial version. That's why I've showed you the limiter technique. But if you'd like to have a transient processor, I'll link some of the free ones in the description below. Cutting way more. And now play with the ratio if you want less of this effect. Find the sweet spot here and of course match the gain of it. Now the second trick is about layering it, but not something easy like random next snare. For layering, I would suggest you taking a clap sample or some mid-high focused sample, such as this one. And now layering is very important. We should not layer samples which focus the same frequency spectrum. For example, the snare that we have has focus on those frequencies here, which is very good since we need this low mid. This is our body of our instruments. And for sure it takes some of the highs here, but the higher in the frequency spectrum we go, the more layering you can do, at least when you want to have easy mixing of your song. Since as you experienced already, the lower you go in the spectrum, the harder it is to mix it. But for example, this snare needs some more presence in the higher frequencies, so that's why I take this thing, which you can see also has low mid frequencies as well. And in order to not mess it up too much, we take the low pass and cut the clap. So we have only this writing machine thing. And now when we compare those together, without the EQ, you can hear the body is layered here and it doesn't feel too good. So when you're layering, try high passing sounds and see if it helps you mix them better. So now when our snare is weak, we need to make it more present. And very nice way of making something more present is making it more in stereo, of course. So that's what we are going to do with this clap. Since this clap is only taking the high frequencies, we can take it even fully in stereo. So we go and open stereo enhancer, and I like to use the 4 strings preset and making it a little bit softer like this. Now you can hear how much more in stereo it is. And by layering it with the snare, it will make it way more present. After that, I've added some reverb and limiter, but it's not making too much difference. Alright, so now when we have it more in stereo, now there's very important one, pre-delaying it. And that's something people really underestimate: pre-delaying stuff, and especially snares. And that's very easy. You just go to this clock in the mixer channel and set it in MS, and I like to add about 8 milliseconds. Way better. So remember to add layer which covers higher frequencies, spread it to stereo, and pre-delay it. That will make your snare go 5 levels up at least. Pretty nice already. And now what's really important after that: hard and short sidechaining to every instrumental element of your track. So in the course we've already done it, of course. Here's our sidechain, our snare. Every of those techniques we cover in the course, so make sure to check it out if you're not sure what sidechain is, for example. But as you can hear, when it hides everything, when the snare hits, it makes it pop out way more. Alright, but this snare is pretty dry. So what we do is, of course, go and apply Fruity Convolver, go and choose some preset that could work. And now there comes the next trick. In every reverb we have this delay knob, and that's very important when it comes to adding reverb on drums. And now we take it to about 80 milliseconds and go down from here till we can't hear when the reverb starts. I find the 50 milliseconds pretty nice working. And now why is that? Reverb from definition blurs, and we want our drums to be crystal sharp, at least in the exact moment that they play. So delay allows us to turn on the reverb after the transient is gone. So we are just making this thing go not straight with the snare, but just after it hits right there. That's a really subtle element, but if you pack your track out with drums, with reverb, that can completely destroy the sharpness of your drums. And of course, another thing would be to use the same reverb everywhere, but it will be a talk for different video. But there's a different and more time-consuming way of doing that, and that's with the peak controller. And you can learn it in depth in our 5 processing tricks video, and that technique would be way better for somebody doing future bass, house music, or different electronic genres. But we are good with delay like it is right now. And now the next trick is actually the most important one. The secret of great sounding snares is the volume. And we talked already that the volume is the reason for pretty much everything, and that's why it's so important. And when I get the tracks for feedback from beginner producers, I really hear that the snare is way quieter than it's supposed to be. And just cranking the volume up would fix the sound and the punch, smack, pop of it. So if it would be like this, I can definitely imagine somebody doing it and not caring about it. You can hear that the snare here is even, I would say, a little bit too loud. But in genres like trap, hip-hop, future bass or stuff like this, the snare is one of the first and main elements. So I want you to remember to not be afraid of turning up the volume knob more than you want to. All of those samples, and already processed samples of course, are available in our The Best Trap Sample Pack that you can get in the description below. Alright, time for 3 last tricks. So here we have pretty long sample, And from definition, the longer it is, the less tight it is. I usually adjust the length of the sample to match it and then play with the out knob. Just like this. That will make it somehow more precise. Next thing will be very important, and it is pitching your sample. Usually snares are pitched to some note, even if you can't hear it, they are, unless it's super short sample like clap or something. But in this situation, when we have acoustic snare, it's for sure pitched. And we can check it by going to pitch corrector, and we can see that it's B flat. I have a song in D sharp, so to make it in tune, I would go 4 semitones up. And it as well makes it tighter. So for sure, match the pitch of your track and your snare, especially when you're doing future bass or dubstep or any genre that needs these tonal snares, and check it by going to pitch corrector. After that, we have really important one, which is proper EQing. And the only way you can learn how to do it properly is to just do it a lot. And that's usually about most of the things in music production, unless you're living in 21st century and you have FL Studio Tips who brought you full beginner scores to rocket start your music career. But about EQing, I've prepared for you infographic with frequency spectrum explaining what frequencies to boost, what frequencies to take down to make your overall mix sound better. But on this example, we had to take down some of the boxiness here and some of the highs to make it fit better in the track. Mixing is about designing, so it's dependent on your own taste. And if it sounds good or not, you will learn after doing it a lot. But for sure, the infographic I've prepared will help you way better understand what's going on in the frequency spectrum, so please don't miss out on it. Download it, it's free, link in the description. Alright guys, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a comment. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe our YouTube channel. It really helps us grow. So see you soon in the next video.